Can we just pour one out real quick for theater employees around the world who have to deal with people mispronouncing the title of this movie?
Don't let anything distract you from it.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Now, just a bit of housekeeping before I get into the real review. About my hiatus over the last month. Just as I was getting into consistent reviews, I got struck down by COVID, and I was feeling it for a lot longer than just that 1 week. I was out of action for 2-3 weeks with symptoms, and I've just had some other stuff going on that I haven't really been in the state to be doing this. But starting here, I'm getting back into it, and I know Everything Everywhere All at Once is a film that has sort of came and went. Most people have probably seen it by now, but I think it's a special film, and it's one that I was really, really excited to talk about before I got sick, and I think I'd be remiss if I didn't still do a video on it. And I think it's a good one to come back to because I think, if you can't tell, it's a very, very special movie. It's kind of an impossible film to describe in a nutshell, but it centers on Michelle Yeoh's Evelyn Wang, who is a middle-aged Chinese immigrant who is trying to deal with her tax returns as she's being audited, her crumbling marriage with her husband Raymond, and her failing laundromat, and just, life's hard. And she's just trying to deal with a lot of different things all at once. And when they're in the IRS office, she encounters an interdimensional version of her husband Raymond, played by the brilliant Quan, who we'll get to soon. And she has the choice to go on this mission to save the multiverse, and then all kinds of stuff happens. Like, this is a film, despite its relatively small budget. I know 25 million is pretty great for an indie film, but just in terms of like blockbusters that might be dealing with similar concepts, this really does live up to its title of Everything Everywhere All at Once, despite being largely set entirely within an IRS building. And I think that's really impressive. This is going to be a rambly review where I just talk about everything I love about the movie because I love everything about the movie. Michelle Yeoh is incredible in this and really gives, I don't know if I should quite say career-defining performance because she has been absolutely killing it for 30 years, but it's a performance that really, as she said, showcases everything she's capable of. She said in an interview that this is kind of the role that she's been waiting for her whole career. It's one that shows her as a fully realized human being. Yes, she's fucking great at martial arts and she's a badass and she's strong, but also she can be vulnerable. She can be funny. She can be difficult to like at times even in this. And she really quite literally does it all in this one. And I think it's going to be a performance people are talking about for the rest of the year, hopefully in awards conversations. And that goes equally for Quan, who you may remember from playing Short Round in Indiana Jones and Data in the Goonies. He took 20 years off from acting, and this is his return to the big screen. And a big part of the reason he left acting was due to a lack of representation and opportunities for Asian actors, and stuff like Crazy Rich Asians inspired him to come back. So this is just, what a role for him to come back to. I can just imagine this would have been so much fun for everyone to shoot. And by all accounts, he's as sweet as his character is in real life, because that's what Raymond is in this. He's a bit of a pushover, he's a bit goofy and clumsy, but he really tries and he fights in his own way. And I really loved how his and Evelyn's sort of worldviews clash, and in the end you realize kind of that's why they're perfect for each other. And he's incredible in this. He gives this monologue late in the film that reduced me to tears, like quite genuinely. He is wonderful in this. He brings so much warmth and kindness and humanity and humor. He's very, very, very funny in this one. He completely understood the assignment. Stephanie Hsu, who is a bit of a relative newcomer. She's been around for a little bit, but is relatively new on the film scene. She's a revelation in this one. She plays their daughter, and she also gets to do a whole lot of wacky stuff in this with a lot of crazy costumes, and she is awesome. Again, the interdimensional stuff, everybody's kind of playing multiple different facets of themselves, and she is so funny, so intense, kind of scary at times. It's a wonderful, wonderful performance, and it should really be a star-making performance for her. She steals every scene she's in. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. She's very funny, but there's also more depth to her character than meets the eye as the IRS agent Deirdre, who they're dealing with. Then you've also got James Hong, who's a legendary veteran actor. I think at one point he had the most IMDb credits of any actor. Maybe he still does, I'm not sure, but he really brings it here. Old age has not slowed him down. He actually does a lot in this movie. And again, very, very funny and intense. I'm just recycling adjectives here, but everyone in this film is excellent. I'm a big fan of the Daniels, and I have been since Swiss Army Man came out. I think that's one of my favorite films of the last 10 years. I think it's a very, very special film that I thought didn't quite get enough love. So I'm very glad this is causing people to sort of maybe go back and give that a bit of a reappraisal. I actually still like Swiss Army Man more, but that's a very special film to me on a personal level. And I think this is going to become the same thing. But point is, I love their style. I love what they're bringing to the world of cinema. Yeah, their style maybe veers into being a little music video-y. That was their background, you know, they did Turn Down for What and everything. But I love their style. What they're doing is they're just taking the dumbest concepts they can think of and then mining emotional poignancy and universality out of them in a way that not many films do, even out of more serious subject matter. That's not to say the subject matter here isn't serious. Deep down, it's a story about generational trauma and growing up. It's about goals and dreams and failure and thinking you're a useless piece of shit, which is something we all think about. It's just done in a really, really out there and fun way that includes Looney Tunes sound effects and butt plug fight scenes and everything in between. This is such a funny film. By the end, you're crying as much as you're laughing. It has a really, really beautiful conclusion that doesn't sacrifice the wacky tone. And that's what I love about this. This is a film that really is able to have its cake and eat it too. And it's really like nothing you've ever seen before. And I think it is going to be a very special film and an important one for budding cinephiles. This is something a lot of people have been saying. It's something I've been saying since I saw it, and it's something that I'm already kind of observing. I can see a lot of teenagers watching this and saying, oh, wow, this is my new favorite movie. And people seeing it and going, oh, wow, this is what films can be. I want to go check out some other acclaimed films, or I want to start making films, because I really think it just hits upon something so universal. And for a film so weird to have this level of widespread acclaim where just about everybody who sees it loves it, I think that's an incredible feat. And I don't even think that Daniels expected, they definitely didn't expect the film to hit the way it did. But I really think it is that good. There may be talk of it being overrated. It's, you know, Letterboxd highest rated film of all time. It's getting an insane buzz, but I actually think it's warranted. I think this is a special movie. I'm not going to write it off for being silly or absurd. In fact, I think that adds to its charm. I think it has maybe some comparisons to something like Scott Pilgrim, which I know isn't heralded as a cinematic masterpiece, but it was a very big film for me as a teenager when I was getting into film. And it's just that explosion of visual style and action that invites people in. But then you get that big emotional hit as well, and the way it pushes the boundaries of cinema. And yeah, I think it's going to be an important film. I've already had people I know come up to me who aren't necessarily into film and say, hey, I just saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think it might be my favorite movie. And yeah, so I think this film's going to do a lot for the art form. It's going to do a lot for indie filmmaking. It's making really good money. It's going to do a lot for the Daniels' career, who I think are two creative geniuses, and I really just want them to have all the money to go and make whatever they want, and I really hope they don't get snapped up to do a Marvel movie or something, because I think they're so much better and more interesting than that. I could ramble all day, but point is, Everything Everywhere All at Once gets a 10 out of 10 from me. My first one of the year, and so it's my favorite film of the year so far, and I'm going to be hard-pressed to find something that beats it this year. Something usually does. There's some stuff I'm really excited for, but I think this is a marvel, and I'm so glad it exists. And like many films of its kind, it came at a time where I really needed it. There are so many great messages in this. You know, especially if you're going through a tough time, it's very life-affirming. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. If you have not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, it is still playing in theaters. Hopefully it's going to hang around for a lot longer than a lot of indie films, because it is just getting that word of mouth and that buzz. And I seriously implore you to see, even if you're not that into movies. If you're not and you're watching this, thank you. I'm glad you're coming to stick around for my videos. But anyway, yeah, just watch it. I think you'll love it. Whoever you are, I think you'll love it. Thank you very much for watching. Many more reviews to come. I've seen a lot of stuff lately that I haven't been able to talk about, so I'm going to start trying to roll those out over the next couple of weeks while we're in a bit of a dry patch for new releases, which helps. Also, just want to dedicate this video to my beautiful cat Silky, who I sadly had to say goodbye to a couple of days ago. So yeah, I'm trying to, power on and get back on with life. And it really is movies like this that help me deal with shitty situations like that. But yeah, no, I don't know if this is the format for it, but I just want to shout out, you're a good cat.
This is the life, free from